open your eyes, but are you awake? Same ceiling, same side, heart moving, mind late. Coffee on the counter, phone in your hand. A quiet little whisper says, remember who I am. Wake up inside. You're more than your name, more than your timeline. Wake up and rise. There's a whole wide sky behind your tired eyes. Breathe in this moment. Let every thought fall silent just for a while. Wake up and
The World is Waking Up is a show about spiritual awakening that explores the global shift in consciousness underway. Through honest conversations, spiritual insight, and grounded wisdom, the show invites viewers to move beyond fear, division, and old belief systems into truth, peace, and higher awareness.
Hello, my name is Mark Patterson. I'm a professional hypnotist and sound healer. I'm also a Qigong instructor. I've spoken at conferences and expos all over the world about my near-death experience when I was 16 years old. And I have taught Qigong for the last 9 years. I've done sound therapy for 20, 25 years now.
Okay, we do? Okay, ready?
Yeah, sure.
How did your own suffering contribute to your awakening?
How did my own suffering contribute to my awakening? I think that when we have suffering, pain, or loss, it gives us an opportunity to heal. We want to turn our wounds into the greatest opportunity. So you shift the energy, and the biggest key to that is to not play victim, to get out of victim consciousness, to realize that you are your own. You create your own reality, and you learn to bless it. And it's almost like, when you turn the other cheek, it's meaning to embrace your suffering, embrace your pain, and realize that it's a part of your growth.
Okay, next question. What illusions were hardest for you to let go of?
Well, there's only one illusion in life, that you're separate from God, you're separate from love, you're separate from divine awareness. And yeah, that's one of the core teachings, is that the kingdom of God is within you, and it's about remembering that inner presence, that you're not separate from God.
Okay, how do you relate to fear now when it arises?
You realize that fear is not real, that it's just temporary. The saying is, this too shall pass, and realize that the power of love, the power of grace, the power of wisdom is far greater than the power of fear.
Okay, next question. What does ego death look like in ordinary life?
Ego death relates to not being attached to everything, that you have more of it's not that you don't care, but you realize that everything is just a situation, and that your situation can always change. But with ego death is that you don't take things personally. Okay. That you're not, the Course in Miracles talks about that you are eternal, and nothing eternal can ever be threatened.
Okay. All right. How does this shift in consciousness change how people work, relate, and serve?
Well, that's what you're here to do. We are here to be of service to each other. We're here to be of service to humanity. And you have to shift your consciousness. From my own near-death experience and things I've studied for 30 years now, the biggest shift in consciousness is shifting from this idea or concept there's an external God that's judging us, to a God that's already within us, that is always loving us and embracing us and forgiving us and empowering us. That's the biggest shift in consciousness.
Okay. What old ways of thinking are dissolving right now?
that you have to do everything, that you have to get everything right, that you have to resist who you really are. You have to resist your gifts. And it's about learning to allow the energy, the universe, God, Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, to work through you.
Okay. How does the new earth express itself through everyday choices?
Well, this idea that we're shifting into this new earth or a higher dimensional consciousness, we keep waiting for this external event. Well, there's not going to be an external event. It's the new earth, the new frequencies, whatever you want to call it, is already within you right now today. And the more that you learn to see yourself in all people, that's when the laws of grace come in. And that's what we're really wanting, is the laws of grace to expand through us, that wisdom, to realize that we are a collective, that we are all one.
Okay. What responsibilities increase as consciousness expands?
Well, at a baseline level, you have to realize and accept that you are responsible for everything in your life. That, as the Course in Miracles talks about, there are no victims, there are only volunteers. And that we have utilized these things, these opportunities, these experiences, these situations in our life to show us more of ourselves. That everything in life becomes a reflection of how you relate to yourself.
Okay. How do you stay engaged with the world without being consumed by it?
That's to be in the world and be not of it. That's the whole thing of having a detached concept, a detached consciousness, to realize it, not to take everything personally, and that the goal is to be almost like an observer, like you're watching a show, to be an observer. Yeah.
Didn't Jesus have a say about that? He said, "Do not be of this world, but be."
Do not be of this world, but be in it. Do not.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's what Jesus taught.
All right. Okay, so now we're going to go to discernment integrity that protects you from spiritual deception. How do you distinguish awakenings from spiritual bypassing?
Well, I think that a spiritual awakening brings you this thing called enlightenment. It means that you're lighter. You don't take things so seriously. You don't take things so personally. You learn to laugh at your flaws. You learn to laugh at your mistakes. You learn to embrace all aspects of yourself. And real awakening is, are you willing to accept your life the way that it is without thinking that it should be more? Without, we get into trouble when we always compare our lives to how it actually is, to how we think that it should be. And I think that's what real awakening's about. Again, but it just goes back to realizing that presence, the saying is, that which is within you is greater than that which is out in the world, or he that is within you is greater than he that is out in the world, because it's already within you. It's always an inside job.
And my grace says he gives you peace, but not of this world.
Right, yeah.
Okay. What are common misunderstandings about enlightenment?
I think the biggest is that it's like some big cosmic galactic event, but real enlightenment is about learning to see you in all things, all places, and all people, and realizing that we're all one.
We're not just like animals that have just for protection.
Right, or something, but I think we keep waiting for this grand event, like this major explosion, yet enlightenment looks just like this. It looks just like this room. It's always right here, right now.
How do you guard against spiritual pride?
Well, it's important to have a sense of pride in yourself, to believe in yourself, but false pride, you're talking about false pride.
Yeah, false pride.
So false pride is taking credit for things that you really didn't do, taking, credit and thinking that the more material stuff that you have means that you're a better person, which is, I mean, that to me is false pride.
Can you give me an example of who would be like that?
Just like thinking that if you have like 5 yachts and you have, a McLean and a Lamborghini, that makes you a better person. And that you would in turn look at your wealth and abundance. And don't get me wrong, wealth and abundance are important, but you use that wealth and abundance and you think that you are superior to those who have less. That's false pride.
Okay, good. What does humility look like after awakening?
Humility is realizing that there is a greater power than you that is always working through you as you, and it's not you, the mind, that is doing these things. It is a greater concept, a greater power that is working through you, and that we surrendering is just allowing your life to be exactly the way that it is.
Okay. Okay. How do you respond when people project authority onto you?
Well, the key is don't turn your power over to them. You are your own authority in your life. You and this higher power that some people call Christ, God. You are the authority of your life, and don't view yourself as less than. Don't turn your power over to people because you think that they have something that you don't. You have everything. You already have everything that you need already within you.
Okay. So next subject. So we're going to talk about the collective evolution questions. So why does collective awakening seem chaotic rather than peaceful?
Because people don't trust themselves. People don't believe in themselves. People don't feel good enough about themselves to allow this being that we call God to work through us as us. We don't trust each other. We're afraid of each other.
That's why there's war and
that's why there's war, because we believe that they have something that we don't, and that the only way that we can get it is by taking their land over or taking them over, without realizing that we have everything that we already need within them. But it's all about war stems from a scarcity consciousness, that we don't have it and we got to take it from someone else.
So it's like a lower frequency.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. How does individual healing contribute to global change?
Because we're all one, so the more that you heal yourself, the more that you're healing other people. So what we do, this has been shown in entanglement theory, that we affect the stars, the planets, the galaxies. What we do here affects people in China and Japan, or over in Iowa. We are a collective. There is only one consciousness.
Okay. What role does conflict play in a consciousness expansion?
Well, conflict is basically resistance. It just shows you what you don't want. So when you realize what you don't want, then you can focus more on what you do want.
Kind of like manifest things.
Right.
And every awakening and everyone's awakening at the same pace, and why not?
Because everyone has a different level of consciousness. But if you and I leave for Jamaica at the same time and you arrive 2 hours after I did, that doesn't mean that you failed Jamaica. It just means that you arrived at a different time.
Okay. What helps people awaken without force or fear?
Loving themselves, self-love.
Gratitude, right?
Gratitude, self-love, and authenticity.
And volunteering for people, like helping people.
Being authentic. Being authentic is your highest vibrational opportunity.
Okay. Okay, questions about embodiment.
Mm-hmm.
True enlightenment is embodied, not mystical escape. How does awakening show up in the body?
how does awakening show up in the body? I just think you feel like this energy, like there's like a sense, like your burdens have been relieved from you, like you have this like this deep sense of love and gratitude, and you're able to look at the grocery store and you see God, or you look at and you just see love, and you just feel that in your body.
Well, I know that when I did that forgiving thing, that my body felt lighter. Like I felt like tons of pressure up.
Right. It's like, Dr. Joyce Meyer says that, and we talked about this before, your unforgiveness is like you drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Yeah.
Okay, what changes in the nervous system support higher awareness? Like getting out of fight and flight.
Well, your parasympathetic nervous system is the flight or fight. And most people's nervous system on the planet is always in total shock. It's in overload, overwhelmed. So when you learn to relax and to just focus on your breath work, it helps you reset your nervous system.
Okay, good. How do you integrate insight during stress or a crisis?
You have to trust yourself. You just have to trust yourself that you can handle it. And when you are trusting yourself in quote crisis, realize that it's an opportunity for growth.
Right, and not get attached to those thoughts.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so how do we return to, let's see if that's the right one. Yeah. How do you return to presence after emotional triggers?
Forgive yourself. It's all about self-forgiveness, realizing that you have to forgive yourself over and over and over and over and over again.
Right. Maybe breath work helps too, right?
And breath work, yeah, deep breath work helps as well, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, what does rest and simplicity have to do with awakening?
Well, if you're always on overload, when your body's still and quiet at night and you go into REM sleep, when you're in REM sleep, that is when your cells regenerate themselves. That's when your body really can heal itself. I mean, sleep and restoration, this is something that the Native Americans taught, that they talked about the dream state being just as important as the waking state that we experience. According to them, the dream state was far more important than the wake, and Aboriginal said as well.
Okay. What would you say to someone, this kind of sounds like me, someone was chasing awakening instead of living fully?
There's nothing to chase. There is no out there. You magnetize what is already yours by going within and going to that place of least resistance. I mean, we create this enlightenment thing that's this big cosmic explosion or something, but it looks just like now. It looks just like this room.
Okay. What spiritual ideas did you have to unlearn?
That you're separate from God.
Okay.
That's
What does awakening not fix?
what is awakening? What?
Not fix. Not fix.
Nothing. Awakening, when you are really awakened, when you really are in your authentic power, it resolves everything. When you cast away the illusion that you're separate from God, everything else falls into place.
Okay. How do you live an ordinary life with extraordinary awareness?
Carry wood and carry water and chop wood. Jesus was a carpenter, wasn't he?
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a role, and you're just playing a role.
Okay. Last question, and we'll give you what you do for a living, and we could put your number up there. What advice would you give that most seekers don't want to hear?
That most seekers don't want to hear?
Yeah. Like people that they don't want to hear when you say something to them, or maybe get mad or something, you know.
There's really nothing to seek, and I think the one thing that rubs people the quote wrong way is that there are no victims, there are only volunteers.
Yeah.
I mean, we make contracts, agreements. It says so in Psalm 139:16 that they think about every day in my book, every day of my life before a single one had passed was recorded in your book before a single one had passed. So we do plan this out because we want our soul to evolve. We want, people always ask, well, why do bad things happen to good people? Because you wanted someone to forgive, you wanted someone to express compassion to, you wanted to show that this time you were going to express the power of love and what love can do to overcome pain and suffering. You wanted to show the power of love.
Okay.
That's why.
Tell us what that night that you had the awakening, or when you were younger.
Oh, so I was 16 years old. I was at a high school party, and I chugged a fifth of vodka, 4 beers, 2 glasses of wine, and about 3 or 4 wine coolers in about 90 minutes. My body went into cardiac arrest from acute alcohol poisoning. My skin was black, green, and purple. And when I left my body, and I was greeted by my grandfather, Russell, who passed away when I was about 2 or 3 years old. He told me that I was, going into the light, going to heaven. And I was greeted by 7 angels. They were female in appearance. They're about 14 feet tall each. And this is a holographic universe, and there was a hologram of my life. And anytime that I was angry, resentful, or blamed other people, they just asked, how does that relate to love? And everything in your life becomes an opportunity to express love. The word forgiveness means for giving your love away, no matter what happens to you. And then if you're always out getting, the Jaguar, the Mercedes, the house, if you're forgetting things, you're out forgetting them, you are forgetting who you really are.
So how does experience help you with sound healing and stuff?
Well, and that's what gave me the ability to do vocal toning, to heal through sound and things like that.
Okay. So what kind of services do you offer?
So I do hypnosis. I've done hypnosis for 35 years now. I do sound healing, I do breath work, and I've been a Qigong practitioner for 30 years. I've taught Qigong for the last 9.
Nice. Is there anything you'd like to say before we leave, or anything?
My website is Mark-Patterson, PATTERSON.com. You got to put that hyphen in. If you don't put the hyphen in, you're going to get a famous jeweler in New York City. But I'm here to help and support people, and so I'm looking forward to hearing from y'all.
All right. Don't forget to go to Google review if you become a customer, and give them a good comment and stuff.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you. You guys have a blessed day.
Oh.